Hello friends, this video on organisms and population part 24 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. The third population interaction is parasitism. So what is parasitism? In this process, organisms live on or within body of another organisms and derive their food from them. So it is like one organism will live inside another organism. So that another organism would be a host. And then the organisms will derive their food from hosts. So the best example that you can relate here is the lice, which is often present on the human hair. So the lice are present on your hair, so it is actually living within body of other organisms. So human beings are hosts for them, and the lice derives its food from our hair. It feeds on the blood, it sucks the blood from our head, and that's how it gets its nutrition. Think of another example. For example, a lot of microorganisms, worms, insects live inside our intestine, and a lot of them cause harm as well. Like many a times we get stomach infection. Many a times these insects cause diseases in us. So they also derive their food from our body. So human intestine act as their host. And in most of the cases, it has been found that the parasites harm their hosts. So these organisms are termed as parasites, and the organism in whose body they reside is termed as the host. So in this type of relationship, parasites are always benefited, but in most of the cases, the hosts are harmed. Now, there are many different types of parasitism. So the first type is ectoparasite. Ecto means outside. So these parasites feed on the external surface of the host. So the example is that of the lice. So here it doesn't enter inside our body. So on the surface of our body itself, it gets what it needs. So that's an example of ectoparasite. Another example could be the cuscuta plant. So this cuscuta plant, it grows on other plants, and it attaches the yellow colored plants which you see here, that is cuscuta, and you see it attaches itself with other green plants and derives nutrition from the other green plant. So basically this green plant, which is like the host, it is suffering a loss because its nutrients are being taken by the cuscuta plant, and that's how the cuscuta plant is growing. So that is an example of ectoparasite. So in this case also, the cuscuta plant is growing or getting its nutrition from the external surface of the host plant. The second type of parasitism is endoparasites. Endo means within or inside. So when parasites live inside the body of the host, that is called endoparasitism. For example, the worms living inside our intestine. So they are actually living inside the body of human beings. So that is why this is an example of endoparasite. You think of the malarial parasite, the parasite which causes malaria. It is not the mosquito which causes malaria. Mosquito just acts as a carrier, and with the mosquito bite, that parasite is introduced into our body. So once that parasite enters inside our body, it causes infection, and that's how a person suffers from malaria. So these parasites, since they live inside the body of the host, they are called endoparasites. The third type of parasitism is called brood parasitism. So let us see what is brood parasitism. So here organisms depend on others to incubate their young ones. So there are certain organisms, especially a lot of birds, which depend on other birds to take care of their young ones so that they give shelter to their young ones. So let's look at the common example of the cuckoo and the crow. What happens is these birds, they lay their eggs in the nests of other species. So that's quite surprising, right? So what happens is, let's say for example cuckoo, it lays its eggs into the nest of crows, and then it expects that the crow will take care of its eggs, and then gradually its new ones will be hatched from the eggs, and they will start growing along with the young ones of the crow. So that's how it kind of delegates the responsibility of incubating their young ones to other species. Now in some species, it has been seen that the newly hatched chick expels or throws away the host chicks from the nest to avoid competition. So that the little cuckoo which comes out from the egg, sometimes it throws away all the young chicks of the crows, and it itself takes the entire space of the nest. While in some other species, the young chick is raised along with the host chicks. Host chicks here would be the crow chicks of the crow. So it has been found that the eggs of the parasitic species have evolved in such a way that they resemble the eggs of the host, so that they can reduce the chance of being thrown away from the nest by the host. Because you see, in this case, the host, who is the host? Crow is the host in this case. So basically the crow's young ones are also there, and this is the parasite. So the cuckoo's eggs are the parasites. So the cuckoo's egg will start, either the young cuckoo's young ones will start growing along with the crow's young ones. The other option is the cuckoo's young one will throw away the crow's young one from the nest, and it will dominate the nest all alone. So these are the two options that generally happens. So this kind of parasitism is known as brood parasitism. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again.